Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's Super Bowl Sunday. The game just ended, and I am probably 6 pounds heavier from junk food. I was lucky enough to go over to a really good friend's house who had a beautiful spread, lots of food, lots of desserts, and all kinds of good stuff. And I went pretty hard, I'm not gonna lie. So I figured it's a perfect opportunity to sit down and lecture you about nutrition. So why not, right? Love a little bit of hypocrisy on a Sunday. Uh, in all honesty, I think it's a good opportunity to sit down and talk to you about cheat days because I think that they are necessary. I think you should absolutely do them. I think you should enjoy yourself. I don't think that anybody should live life not experiencing what life has to offer. We all love to eat. We all love foods. We all have certain foods that are tied to nostalgia or whatever that we just want to enjoy. And if you're on a fitness journey at any point, you're probably a little bit worried about cheat meals, particularly if you're just getting started off. Maybe you've been working out and training diligently for a few months. Maybe you have a certain goal about weight loss, and maybe you have been really disciplined, but something like today comes up where it's a party, you go to it, and you just let yourself go. You let it rip. Eat a bunch of stuff. Maybe you binge a little bit, right? So let's talk about a couple of things that I like to do when I have a cheat day and just some general thoughts around it. So first off, no matter where you're at in your fitness journey, you should have cheat days. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. You've earned it. Food tastes good. It feels good. Sometimes you just got to let go, let loose, right? And even if you're in a weight class sport, there's still a place for it. Albeit we call it a refeed or a diet break or some other bullshit name that we've come up with in the fitness industry to describe it, but essentially same kind of a thing, and it has its metabolic benefits in that case. But even if you're not, even if you're just a normal person that just wants to take care of themselves and you've made some really good progress, but all of a sudden you hiccup, it's necessary. Enjoy yourself. But depending on how nerdy you want to get, we could do certain things to help mitigate the impact of said cheat meal. So, in a basic sense, what happens when you have a cheat meal? Well, you eat a bunch of fat, sugar, salt, whatever else is in that shit. It all tastes fucking amazing. But let's keep it simple. Fat, sugar, salt, right? So, you eat a bunch of sugar. You eat a bunch of carbohydrates. You eat a bunch of fat, and all that stuff goes directly into your bloodstream, right? Well, especially if you've been dieting, your body is going to experience a rush of sugar that it's not used to. It's an overload for it. And so for a period of time, depending on what you ate and how long you have it in your system, your blood sugar is going to be elevated. And, once in a while, it's really not that big of a deal, to be honest with you. If you're a competitive athlete or if you're somebody who trains consistently, it can actually be a good thing because maybe your body is overworked and underfed and it needs a high dose of insulin, a high dose of carbohydrates to replenish its glycogen stores. In which case, honestly, do nothing, right? Just enjoy it. Get some good sleep, wake up the next day, maybe have a good training day. But if it's something that is worrisome to you, or if you are on top of your health and you're kind of on the fence of starting to experience levels of insulin resistance because of your genetics or your family history or your age or whatever, there are a couple things that you can do to sort of mitigate that. So as far as supplements that I take to maintain good blood sugar levels, there are 3 that I take, and I take them I take 2 of them on a consistent basis, and I take 1 of them on a needs-based basis. The 2 that I take consistently are alpha lipoic acid and chromium picolinate. And primarily, chromium picolinate is the one that really manages blood sugar levels the best. In a very, very simplistic sense, I don't think anybody wants to hear me drudge on about science, but what ends up happening is there are glucose transporters located within your cell, and under normal times, they are dormant as they don't need the glucose to come into the cells, whether the muscle cells aren't fatigued or they maybe have sufficient stores. So these remain relatively dormant. But with a high level of blood sugar, especially consistently, what ends up needing to happen is this blood sugar needs a place to go. And if it doesn't, it simply just circulates through your bloodstream. It is filtered by your kidneys. It puts strain on your kidneys. And over time, obviously, this can develop, varying levels of renal failure. it can actually affect your eyes as well. In fact, one of the more layman signs of beginning signs of insulin resistance is diminishing eyesight, because your retinas are actually particularly susceptible to blood sugars, and blood sugars can actually help them deteriorate over time. But getting off topic there and rambling a little bit, chromium picolinate activates these GLUT4 transporters. And so what it does is it brings them to the surface of the cell and gets them ready to uptake glucose. So if your blood sugar is higher, say you ate a bunch of donuts like my fat ass did today, right? You have that blood sugar flowing through your system. The activation of the GLUT4 transporters will take that sugar and store it in the muscles. So hopefully tomorrow I actually have a pretty good training day as a result of it. It tends to work pretty well regardless. Another supplement that's great is alpha lipoic acid for the glucose modulation benefits in terms of the more efficient production of glucose in the liver, and metabolism of glucose in the liver, and at the same time it is a nice antioxidant. There's another supplement that I like too, particularly for when I go harder on cheat days, and that's berberine. Berberine is a very potent activator of the GLUT4 transporter. And so what berberine will do is, if you have higher prolonged levels of glucose, it will basically take that glucose and cram it into your muscles. And not only is this useful for when you have a cheat day and you don't want to have higher levels of circulating blood sugar, you want that blood sugar to go into where it needs to be quickly, but it's one of my secret weapons in post weigh-ins for weight cuts, for rehydration, because obviously when you deplenish yourself to make weight, you're dehydrating yourself, you're removing a lot of electrolytes, but you're also removing a lot of your glycogen. Glycogen is stored water within the cells, right? And in order to replenish that, it makes it really easy if you have something to cram blood sugar, or to cram sugar into your muscles to replace that glycogen. So a very potent help in that aspect is berberine. Now, another anecdotal thing that I've done for years, and I think is very beneficial in this case, is apple cider vinegar. Dose dependent, I don't know. I've never messed around with dosages in the past, and I don't really want to be honest with you. I don't think that that's a thing to be precise about, but a nice daily swig of it is pretty helpful. I read a study earlier today that showed a 2 tablespoon dosage of apple cider vinegar daily can increase insulin sensitivity by 34%. And so on a consistent basis, I think it's a good practice. And I think in the event of a cheat meal, it's another great thing to do. Just eat a bunch of food, chug some take a big swig of apple cider vinegar afterwards, and watch the results. Now, I have always been a big proponent of fasting. I haven't trained fed. I haven't trained in a fed state in years, and I don't like to. I prefer to train fasted, and of course that easily lowers blood sugar levels. It mobilizes fatty acids. It's a very effective way of recovering from a cheat meal, or from a series of cheat meals, or from like a weekend binge. It allows me to burn off those excess calories and excess fats a little bit faster than most people would. And it's a little trick I've used for years, but if you're not used to that, if that's not something you're accustomed to, I wouldn't recommend it. But it's what I do. And so most of these videos is kind of to just talk about what I do, give you a general sense, and let you reach your own conclusions about what you'd like to do. I like to train fasted. I think it feels better. And it allows me to be more flexible and have certain days or weekends like I've had where I kind of let myself go a little bit and deviate from my normal diet plan and enjoy myself. So something else you can consider too is doing some fasted cardio if you're not used to it. But operate with some discretion with this. Don't just jump straight into having a long day training fasted. If you're not used to it, it can be a little bit jarring. It can be difficult. So something to build up to, but that's what I do. But the big thing is, just listen, man, like, I've been an athlete most of my life, and I've been vain all of my life. And I can tell you firsthand, psychologically, like, the battles that you can go through in your head when it comes to food. I've been through it all. I've been through severe caloric restriction. I've been through binging, and I never purged, but I've been through periods of binges with food. I've seen weight gain in different areas of my life where I've been bigger, I've been fatter, I've been less healthy. I've seen it all, and I want you to understand this. Like, you earn your cheat meals by working out really hard. It's something that you should enjoy. And you should be able to enjoy it not just physically, but psychologically too. You deserve to enjoy yourself. You deserve balance in your life. You deserve to have a meal. You deserve to have a cake. You deserve to have whatever. You deserve to have a fun weekend. You deserve to have a good vacation. You are not 1 day or 2 days. You are the product of your consistent daily habits. And if consistency has led you to be a lot more behaved with your diet, if you've found new habits that you've been able to grow and lose weight with, then continue to do them. But if you take a break every now and then, let yourself do it and enjoy it. Be nice to yourself. Love yourself. Be compassionate with yourself. You can always get back to where you were, but 2 days or a weekend or whatever, a cheat meal isn't going to change much. But it can if you beat yourself up over it and you're mean to yourself and you lose compassion for yourself and you, over time, lose the habits that built up where you are now. So, a little bit disjointed. I don't know if I phrased that the best way, but realistically, like, I just want you to love yourself and be proud of yourself. And if you decide to have a cheat meal, or if you decide to go to a party and eat a bunch of hors d'oeuvres and have a bunch of chips and snacks and stuff, then hey man, you deserve it. You've worked hard. You've been disciplined. You've kept up a long streak of taking care of yourself. And even if it's not to your perfect standard, I promise you it's better than you've done, because you wouldn't be upset with yourself if it weren't. So let yourself enjoy it. Let yourself love it. Enjoy every second of it. And when it's time to get back to work, it's time to get back to the grindstone, you will. But there's no sense of being mean and beating up yourself about it. I think you should be compassionate and give yourself every chance to be happy. And if that includes having some junk food every now and then, by all means do it, because I do. I love certain things, and when I enjoy myself, I enjoy myself. And when I'm disciplined, I'm disciplined. And it's what's always worked for me, so let it work for you too. If you have any questions, let me know. Leave them in the comments below. If I am getting too soft and being too nice, by all means, roast me. Let me know how ridiculous I am. But enjoy your cheat meals. And hope you had a good Super Bowl party. Hope you hung out with a lot of friends and family who were surrounded by love and food and happiness and laughs and all that stuff. So, yeah, I just want to see everybody do good and be happy. So, thanks a lot, guys. I'll talk to you soon.